Yo, welcome to another episode of the Simply Ball Dropping Podcast. I'm your host and the man behind the mic, K Sap. And today's show, man, it's getting a little ridiculous for Dwight Howard. But when you come across this show, make sure you like, comment, subscribe. Make sure you turn your post notifications on so you know every time Simply Ball Dropping drops another hot banger. And if it's your first time coming across the channel, please hit the subscribe button and turn your post notifications on. On this channel, we cover sports, hot topics, roundtable talk, and the marriage chronicles. I see everybody in the comment section. Hashtag salute. And you know what my mantra is. Tell a friend to tell a friend. It might not be for you, but it might be for them. Let's get right off into it. Well, you know, Dwight Howard has been in the news. Court documents revealed that charges was brought forth on him. Allegedly, these allegations are getting wilder and wilder by the minute. More victims have came out on their platforms saying that Stephen Harper is not the only victim of Dwight Howard's sex antics. I mean, it's just getting bad for Dwight Howard. And yesterday, Dwight Howard went to his social media to defend himself, stating that, you know, you guys shouldn't worry about what's going on in his bed. You know, rightfully so. I mean, you're a grown man, you can do anything that you want. But you're not denying the fact that you're having these sex antics with other men. So basically, whatever floats your boat is whatever floats your boat. But just come out and state the obvious. I mean, if you're gay, just come out, be open about it. And if you'd have came out long time ago when you started doing these things, because it looks like it stems back to before the pandemic started, then the allegations ramped up in 2021. I know there's a lot of videos out there of you doing different interviews. You did an interview after a Hawks game and you said everything was predicated around the D. You was emphasizing that word strong, pause. Dennis Schroeder looked at you crazy, but you just kept on saying everything starts with the D. And then the infamous video that came out when you was with the Houston Rockets, when you just straight up grabbed your teammates' private parts. So if you would have came out and said that this is what it was, a lot of this stuff wouldn't have the steam that it has now. It would have slowed down and people wouldn't have been reacting to it the way they're reacting to it. So it's your job to put all this stuff to bed, like I said. But things are starting to make sense. And Stephen A. Smith did a podcast yesterday, and he was talking about the obvious things that everybody else has been talking about, but he took it a step further. He did the same thing that I did on a previous show. You know, Dwight Howard was trying to make his comeback into the NBA, and things didn't work out well for him. Still not signed. He's still a free agent. And, you know, he can help out a lot of teams. He's a serviceable big man. I mean, like they said, he's still in shape. He can run the floor like a gazelle. He can play defense. He can block shots. You know, the offense ain't there like it used to be, but you don't expect that from Dwight Howard. You expect him to do his job like he did for the Lakers in the bubble. You know, he came in and served a purpose against the Joker, did well, and that got Lakers over the hump, you know, because he did what he had to do on the Joker, and that freed up Anthony Davis to be the dominant person that he was in that series in the bubble, in that Western Conference Finals. So Dwight Howard is a serviceable big man. You know, he went overseas and he played and he did well. Even he was shooting the ball. He was shooting threes. He was playing defense against bigger guys. And he did a job well done. But he was trying to make his comeback to the NBA and things didn't work out. And, you know, he sent a cryptic message when, you know, he was trying out for the Warriors. He thought that he was going to land with the Warriors. But things are starting to make sense now, like I said. If these allegations are pending on Dwight since 2021, a lot of stuff plays into that. A lot of teams, like Stephen A said, and like I said on a previous show, that's why Dwight Howard is still unsigned. And it's unfortunate because these allegations came and was reported in 2021. And ever since then, Dwight Howard, since the bubble, he's been, out of the league. The Lakers didn't pick up his option. And y'all guys go back and remember what Carmelo Anthony said about, David Stern, when David Stern was commissioner, when Melo sat down and said, they know everything that you're doing. They know when you wake up. They know when you're moving around. They know everything. Investigative services know everything. The NBA has their investigative services tracking these players. They know everything that these players are doing. So now it all makes sense that if these allegations was in 2021, that's the reason why teams haven't signed Dwight Howard, because he got these pending allegations coming forth to him. Now, a lot of people said you shouldn't worry about what you're doing on the off court. It's what you're doing on court. But that plays a big factor. You go back when Terrell Owens was trying to get into the Hall of Fame in football, all his off the field antics costing a first ballot Hall of Fame nominee. And that weighs in. And these people look at that. Now I'll take it even a step further. Who's missing off that top 75 list? Dwight Howard. Now, if that list came out in 2021, 2022, look when them allegations was set forth on Dwight Howard in 2021. So that was probably the deciding factor that kept Dwight Howard off that top 75 list. Y'all think about that. Just think about that. Think about some of the things that, I've said, a lot of media sources said. I mean, it all makes sense, man. It's a reason why Dwight Howard is out of the league. And Kwame Brown, he summed it up. And I've been saying this, but I haven't put it on record yet. But before Dwight Howard was coming into the NBA, coming out of high school, he had a sit down when he was at Southwest Christian Academy out there in Georgia. And he was the top rated player. And he was all about the Bible. He carried his Bible around. He was talking about the NBA logo of Jerry West. He wanted that to be a cross. But now you in the NBA and the things that you have done is not Bible-like if you're out there servicing, playing with other men. That's not in the Bible. So like Kwame Brown has said, the richest is going to have the, hardest time getting into heaven. And Dwight Howard came in with a Bible, and now he's going out messing with men. Make it make sense. But I want y'all guys to listen to some of the things that Stephen A. Smith said on his podcast without getting into the, the details of all the accusations up against Dwight Howard. But Stephen A. Smith dropped the hammer and he made it make sense. So I want you guys to listen to what Stephen A. Smith said.
In my mind when I thought about this, that's why teams didn't want him. That's why teams didn't want him. Now, whether they're going to admit it or not, and I'm not going to mention teams because I don't want to incriminate anybody or accuse anybody of something I simply don't know. I'm guessing. What I'm saying is that that's the first thought that came to my mind. That's why they don't want him. Because what do I constantly try to educate y'all about as somebody that's been a reporter for 30 years? We always know more than we reveal. Because our intel comes from the actual sources. And so it is not beyond the realm of comprehension that a team was looking into bringing Dwight Howard with that defensive prowess that he brings to the table, that a team was not looking to bring Dwight Howard on board and then found out through their investigative process, because they investigate everything, that he had this court situation coming down the pipe. It's just a reasonable conclusion for me. I'm totally guessing, but it's a reasonable conclusion to deduce. That's what I look at. That's what I pay attention to. That's what I steal from why somebody wouldn't want Dwight Howard. Why wouldn't you? He runs the court like a gazelle. He can jump out of the building. He can block shots. He can defend. He ain't the offensive player he thinks he is, but he's not a scrub. But he is an elite defensive player, or at least once upon a time he was. And seeing how some of these teams struggle defensively, there's no reason why you wouldn't have Dwight Howard on your team, basketball-wise. I don't get it. At least I didn't get it. I'm just guessing. But I'm guessing that I get it now. Live your life, brother. Sorry you're in the news for this nonsense. It's quite embarrassing. But it is what it is. And by the way, when I brought up him not making it on the top 75 list of all-time NBA players, it was Stan Van Gundy, former coach of Dwight Howard and the Orlando Magic in Orlando when they went to the finals. It was him that went off, calling it absolutely ridiculous that Anthony Davis was on the top 75 list over Dwight Howard. That's a debatable subject as well. Who belongs in that top 75 list more, Dwight Howard or Anthony Davis? I guess we could answer the question, assuming that any of us can bring ourselves to talk about basketball when we're talking about Dwight Howard from this day forward.
Pretty interesting what Stephen A. Smith said, man. Makes a lot of sense, man. Makes a lot of sense, man. All points that I alleviated to, man, Stephen A. backed me up on, man. I produced a show a couple of days ago stating the obvious. And this was my conclusion. Now Stephen A.'s conclusion as well. I mean, this what is hindering Dwight Howard from getting back into the NBA. All these accusations. And you guys, if you go listen to Kwame Brown's Bus Life, he takes it a step further. He takes it a step further because now all these charges and these accusations and these people coming out against Dwight Howard, if he got to appear in a courtroom, it's going to be hard for him to shake that because of the video evidence that is out there of him displaying this type of antics. The groping of his teammate in Houston on the bench, the interviews, kissing the referees in the head. When a male reporter was interviewing him, you know, he gave him a compliment and Dwight was blushing. You know, things like that, man, that plays a big part into going into a courtroom trying to defend yourself against these accusations. Dwight came out on his Instagram IG Live talking about allegedly it didn't happen. Like I always said, where there's smoke, there's fire, man. But if you feel like you got to come out and defend yourself over this stuff, you're just making it worse because you're not owning up to it. You're just stringing people along, and people got this perception, man, that you're down low. It is what it is, man. Like I said, in today's society, the world makes it a place where you can come out and feel comfortable. Why don't you just come out? Well, you guys, let me know what y'all think down in the comments section. This is going to wrap up another episode of the Simply Ball Dropping Podcast. I'm your host and the man behind the mic, K-Sap. Catch you on the next one. Deuces.
Thanks for listening to the Simply Ball Dropping Podcast. Be sure to subscribe, like, and share on all major platforms.
Another one.